Sahana bhavatu sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Deepraj. In the example about inference, it's always the mind that latches on to physical, emotional, and intellectual pleasures, correct? Wait, I didn't see Deepraj. Where are you? I didn't see in the example about inference. Which example are you referring to?
The one that says the subtler the pleasure is, the more joy you get out of that.
Okay. It's always the mind that latches on to physical, emotional, and intellectual pleasures. Yes, correct. But if you put it like that, it becomes a little complicated. So paraphrase this into saying that we have physical, emotional, and intellectual desires. So then it becomes clearer. Otherwise, it just gets very confusing to somebody who hears what you're saying. But you're right. Every desire is the mind. The mind wants something physical or emotional or intellectual, and if it wants better things, it gets better joys. But it is a very foolish fellow because it doesn't get that. So wherever it is, it feels this is it, and that's why your desires hold you back. Okay, so we all remember, right, what we have done. There are 4 ways of knowing something. The first way is you know it through your sense perception. Like I can tell now that Madeline is here and she's listening, and Deepraj is here and she's listening, and Elsie is here and she's listening, and Shashi is here and she's listening. How do I know this? I can see it. Right now, is Kalyan listening or not? Can I know? No, I cannot know because I cannot see him. Now, if I have to know whether Kalyan is listening or not, I will have to use a second method. What is another method I will know by which I will know that Kalyan is listening?
Inference.
Yeah, how?
Kalyan has been listening for a long time, so he's probably listening today as well.
Okay, fine. I can infer like that. Or if I ask a question and I hear Kalyan responding, then I will know that Kalyan is listening.
But
So
that's perception, right? If you ask a
go ahead. Correct. Go ahead.
if you ask a question and you listen to his voice, then that's perception.
Yes.
That becomes perception.
If I ask a question and he responds, then I can infer whether he's listening or not based on what is that response. Okay, so if he gives me suppose I say, Kalyan, what did I just say? And he says, you said that the sky is blue. Then I know my perception is that he said the sky is blue. My inference is Kalyan is not listening. Okay. So I can know about the others through inference. Are they saying things, or are they saying correct things, or are they asking relevant questions? So I know that from inference. Okay. Now, suppose I want to tell you that you must be a good student. You must be a good student like Nachiketas. You all know the story. Madeline, thank you for keeping your video on because it reminds me that you may not know what Nachiketas is. So then Nachiketas is the ideal student in the scriptures. And he comes from a text called the Katho Upanishad. It's an Upanishad where this young boy wants to know Brahma Vidya, know the knowledge of the self, and approaches Lord Yama himself. Lord Yama means the king of death. So he goes and approaches Lord Yama because he's a smart kid. He knows that, suppose I die in the middle of my studies, but now if the god of death himself is teaching him, how will he die in the middle of his studies? So he straight away goes and asks him. Of course, there's a story. I'm not telling you the whole story, but okay. So and then Brahma says, Yama, that's the god of death. Yama says, "Why do you want Brahma Vidya? Here, I'll give you all this wealth. I'll give you all the things of this world." To which he says, "Keep it. I don't want all the wealth of the world." And then he says, "Okay, tell me, what do you want?" So he says, "Give me 3 things. My father is very unhappy. Soothe him." The story. Okay, forget why he's unhappy. He's unhappy. Soothe him. Says, "My community is suffering. Bless it. And give me Brahma Vidya." So we need 3 things. So it shows us our obligations in life. Our obligations have to be attended to. Our immediate family, our community, and the purpose finally is the attainment of the knowledge of the self. So here is a student who understands his full obligation and works for it, whatever the price may be. So he's supposed to be like an ideal student. And so eventually Yamraj, the Lord of Death, gives him the knowledge of the self, gives him the knowledge of Vedanta. Because when he reaches there, Yamraj is not there. He first reaches his house. Because he has gone to Ukraine. Because there's a lot of work in Ukraine nowadays. So he has gone to Ukraine. And so he wasn't there. So poor Nachiketas had to wait for 3 days. That's why when Yama came back, he said, "Since you waited for me for 3 days, I will give you 3 goods." So he had asked for these 3 things. Just showing us what amount of discipline, sacrifice you need to put in before you even get to know this knowledge. It's not that this knowledge can descend on us. It's not a knowledge you can buy with money. It is a knowledge that you can only buy with tapas. There's no other way to do this. So if you put in the tapas, you put in that discipline, you put in that hard work, the knowledge is yours. Or it is not. It is that simple. Or that difficult, whichever one you want to say. So, remember where we were? Where?
We were using inference to save Kadyanit.
No, Deepraj. Why have we gone?
Wait, no. It was about comparison. We were comparing students to Nachiketa.
Yeah, very good. Long story. Please don't let go of the idea. Okay, remember a speaker can say what they want. It's their liberty. They can say what they want. It's for you to make sure that you are following the line of thought. They will go, yeah, they can't cover everything from heaven and earth will be covered. You keep track. So what we did first, we did pratyaksha, sense perception. Then we did anumana, inference. Then we are doing upamana, which is comparison. So the third way we can know anything is through comparison. Let's say one must be a student like Nachiketa. Then you understand what it is. Assuming you know Nachiketa, then you understand what degree of discipline, what degree of mumukshatva, the desire, the ardent desire for liberation, and how he looked after his obligations, how he did everything properly. And having done all that, then Lord Yama gave him the knowledge. So it teaches us what we need to do. So it is the method of comparison. And the fourth way by which we can know anything is through an authoritative source. So how did Nachiketa know about this knowledge? His teacher told him. So that's how you know something. Otherwise, you don't know about it. You never heard of Brahma Vidya. Imagine.
Sorry. I'm Seroto. I'm new member, so I want to know what kind of topic you are talking about. So in this group.
Okay, Seroto, where did you hear about this class from?
Deepraj invited me to this class. So.
Okay. Deepraj's friend. Okay, so good. Welcome, Seroto.
Thank you.
Well, what we are doing is this book, Vedanta Treatise. In this book, we are in the chapter on, we're on the topic of how do you know anything?
Okay. How do you know anything?
So how do you know it? There are 4 ways. Now, why are we examining the ways of knowing something? Is we are trying to know the ultimate reality. Is there an ultimate reality? What is its nature? We're trying to understand this. So to understand that, we start by asking ourselves the question, how do I know anything? How do I know Seroto is in class? I know because I heard him speak. But how do I know his name is Seroto? So how do I know that his name is Seroto?
How we do know your?
So who can tell me? How do I know that this is Seroto?
Because he said it.
Yeah, because he said it.
So
use your eye.
No, I can't see you, Seroto.
Hear my voice.
Yeah, I can hear. I know that you said that your name is Seroto. I don't know that you are Seroto.
Just I said the name, so you can hear my name. That's why you understand I'm Seroto.
No, that is what I hear. I hear that you say that you're Seroto. How do I know that you are Seroto? What method of understanding am I using over here? Can anyone in the class tell me? How do I say that Seroto is Seroto? I heard him say that, but why have I accepted it?
Deduction, inference.
Okay, I could have accepted it through deduction because Deepraj so far, who is claiming to be his friend of, has not said, oh no, I don't know him and he's certainly not Seroto. So that can be an inference. But we have not checked with Deepraj. But I'm still accepting that this Seroto is Seroto. So why am I accepting this? On what grounds do I accept it?
Trust, why would he say?
Okay, we have 4 methods. So tell me in the 4 methods.
Isn't it perception?
No. Perception tells me he said his name was Soroto. That is what perception
But we can also see his name in the chat, right? As
Sorry?
we can also see his name written as that.
Okay,
in the
I
chat.
can see his name is written as that, correct? In which case I can see that his name is written as that. I'm telling you, I've accepted it. It is now my knowledge. I accept that this is so. Why have I accepted it? Or why could I have?
Inference, why would he tell lie?
Okay, inference is one way. What is the other one?
In this case, we are accepting Deepraj as an authority because we know Deepraj for a long time, and he has kept quiet that no, he is not Soroto. We accept him as an authority and establish that Soroto is Soroto.
Okay, but all that would be inference. I think we can take Soroto's claim to be Soroto under authoritative source. We have accepted on his own. If he claims it, we accept it. Why should we not? So we have accepted the authority of Soroto to say what his name is. If we ask Madeline, what is your name? She says, I'm Madeline. And we accept her authority on the matter. We don't claim to know her name better than she knows her name, right? She says, no, my name is not Madeline. My name is Madeline. Then we'll say, okay, Madeline, whatever it is she claims it is, we will accept it. Why are we accepting it? She's an authority on that. All right. So every single thing that we know, we could have not done it by inference also. I'm not saying that you have to do it by authority. You could have done it by inference. It's insofar as Deepraj has kept quiet, we can infer. We can also ask him, and from his answer also infer. So we are using these methods all the time. There are other methods as well besides the 4 we have over here. One is, because Milind was very keen to know what are the others, there are 6 methods traditionally accepted, which we are going to use 4. But the 5th one is the one where you tell absence. How do you know, for instance, that, let us say, Mahesh is not here? Is he here? Mahesh doesn't attend this class, no? We know Mahesh isn't here. How do we know that Mahesh isn't here? The knowledge of absence. How do you know something isn't there? See, sense perception tells you what is there. How do you know what isn't there? So we are not using that as a separate one, because we can either include it in sense perception. With my eyes, I can tell that it's not there, or I use it in the sense of inference. Since my eyes cannot see it, I tell he is not there. So we need not go into so much detail. The next one is postulation, which we can easily put into inference. So that's why I didn't do all 6, because we'll just get into unnecessary debates. We'll do 4. Our guru uses 4, we will use 4. Okay, based on authority, and it's sort of reasonable to do that. So there are 4 ways. So Soroto, are you good with this? There are 4 ways by which we know it. Where are you from, Soroto?
I am from Japan.
Oh, you're from Japan. Oh, great. Our first entrant from Japan.
Oh, thank you. So sometimes I have struggled to understand Indian's pronunciation in English, so I try my best to catch you. So
stop me. If something is not clear, just ask.
Okay. Thank you.
So 4 ways we know something. Firstly, by seeing it or hearing it or smelling it or tasting it, which is through our senses. Second way we know something is through inferring it. We haven't seen it or heard it or tasted it or smelled it, but we infer it. How do we infer it? We say, since this is so, therefore that is that. Since there is smoke, there has to be fire somewhere. Since there is a bird, since there is a feather, that has to have been a bird. Or the most common one, which is often in these texts, is forgot what his name was. There's one chappie whose name I have now forgotten. He is a fat person. Devadat. Devadat is a fat person. We do not see Devadat eat anything during the day. Therefore, we conclude that
He eats at night.
Devadat eats at night. Correct. So yes, so this is the one that is used in the Nyaya textbooks. Devadat is a fat person. We do not see him eat during the day. Therefore, conclusion, he eats at night. So this is an inference. Right? Then comes Upama. Which is the example we gave for Upama today?
Nachiketa.
Nachiketa. Very good. Yeah. Very good. So, and then there is Agami. We also gave an example for Agami. What was the example for Agami?
Siroto.
Soroto.
Yes, now everybody will remember Siroto. So, we have, every time we know something, we know it by one of these four methods. Now, what happens if any of your methods are wrong? What happens if you see a mirage, but there's no water there? What happens if you make an inference, but your inference was incorrect? Or you made a comparison and you compared the wrong things. Like suppose I want to buy a new car and I say, oh, this new car is just like my old one. I used to own a Ciaz, and the new car I'm going to buy is, or let's say I owned a Honda City, and the new car I'm going to buy is a Honda City. It is the same color. It has the same four wheels. Therefore, my new car will be as good as my old car. I think that was reasonable, but you have to learn how to make comparisons, because to make comparisons, not only have you to find out what is similar, you also have to find out what is dissimilar, correct? What is different? So my old Honda City is petrol engine. My new Honda City is going to be diesel engine. Now, this is a very fundamental difference. So, like suppose I say, my best friend's name is Arun, and Arun is the name of the boy who's asked for my daughter's hand. So his name is Arun and his name is Arun. Therefore, that boy who's asked for my daughter's hand will be as good as my best friend. Correct? So it's a failure in inference, though we do this failure of comparison, though we do this all the time. We make all sorts of comparisons which are simply not valid. So we need to know, what are this? How do I know this? It's a big, big question for us to ask ourselves. How do I know this thing? And why is it so important to ask ourselves this question? Because once we claim to know something, it's a very frightening thing. Once you claim to know something, you will act in accordance to it. Whatever according to you is true. And when you act, means you do something, the results come, good or bad. So it's very important for us to be able to say, what do I know? Is it valid? Because what I know will determine what I know, determines what I do. Very good. So how I act. And how I act, what I do, determines
Consequence.
what I get.
Result.
Consequences, correct. My life, yes. So very important to know, how do we know this? Where did I get it from? Very important to ask this question. Okay, so he's explaining to us now with reference to the ultimate reality. What is it that, what are the ways by which I may know ultimate reality? Can I see it? Can I hear it, smell it, or taste it, or touch it? No, I can't. The reality is not available for that. And yet people will make claims like, I saw God. I heard God. God came and did something to me. Or I was in meditation and I smelled the fragrance of the Lord. Something. Or sometimes you say, I ate such divine fruit. It's not divine fruit anymore than Karela is. Everything is equally divine. So every time we claim, say, I went to the temple or church or mosque and I got darshan. I saw the Lord. Did you? I heard the choir, or I heard classical music, or I heard bhajans, and I felt like God is with me. You see, through our perceptions, we cannot know the ultimate reality. Through inference, through comparison, and through an authoritative source, there is some possibility of knowing it. So, how do we know by inference? We know by inference that in spite of the world being complete change, there is something in me that never changes. And that is the I am. Never change. Whether I say I am a child, whether I say I'm a woman, or I say I'm an old woman, the I am. See, the child is different from the woman, is different from the old woman, but the I am stays. The waker is different from the dreamer, is different from the deep sleeper, but the I am stays. Through inference, you figure out that there has to be some stable thing over here in this whole changing universe. What is that stable thing that never changes? What is that one truth that is the same truth for everyone? So through inference, you start trying to think about these things. You also know it by comparison. You know, the best example always is what are you saying, Siroto? I can't understand. Atman, are you saying? Yes, it is called Atman in Sanskrit. Now, when you make a comparison, just like the dream world disappears when you wake up to the waking world, so too does the waking world disappear when you achieve enlightenment. You're making a comparison to understand what that concept is. But the main way we know about this is through an authoritative source. Our teacher tells us. That is the main way we know it, because you wouldn't be doing inferences and comparisons until somebody told you the best thing. So we get it mainly from an authoritative source. an authoritative source that we're supposed to not even question. Whether you read the Quran or the Bible or the Gita, they tell you, you must believe these words and you should not question. What it means is you should not question foolishly. It doesn't mean you should not question. Of course you should question. It is the hallmark of a human being to question. How can the greatest sages tell us not to question? Of course you must question. If you don't question, you're like a sheep or a goat being led. Questioning is important. The Bhagavad Gita says you must question. Pariprashnena. By questioning will you learn. He gives the qualities of the student. He said, what are the qualities of the student? Devotion, questioning, and service. You must have devotion to your teacher. Means you look up to that person, you respect that person, you have feelings for that person. You have to have devotion for the teacher. Then you must question the teacher, not to challenge, but to understand. Because without questioning, we just become used to some words. We don't get the full import of it. The way we learn as humans is by questioning. See a child, what does a child do? Questions, and that's how the child learns. So we learn by questioning. And third one is service. If we don't do service, we don't get the knowledge. So we have to have all of these happening. Then we become a good student. But the scriptures sometimes say, don't question. What do you mean, don't question? How can I not question? How will I learn if I don't question? So obviously, that's not what it means. What it means is don't question foolishly. Don't challenge it. Don't poo-poo it. Don't apply small intellect to big things. I mean, any fool can question, right? But to question in a way that we progress, that's a big thing in life. So necessity to choose the authoritative source. Yes, to choose the authoritative source, you have to apply your intellect, number one, and also having chosen, you have to question properly. Like if the doctor gives you a prescription, you don't sit down and ask him, now why did you choose this antibiotic? Which principle are you using? You don't question that. You say, okay, I've understood clearly. I have to have it 3 times a day or 2 times a day with my food, whatever, what I have to eat, not eat. Clearly understand what is the instruction before you start applying that instruction. And then if you do go to medical school, then you ask a completely different type of question. So decide where you are and question for your progress, depending on whatever the progress is supposed to be. Okay, so authority doesn't mean non-questioning, but they call it that you shouldn't question because you must understand the grandeur of what you're dealing with in that sense. So that's why they say, don't question the Quran. Yes, don't question it, correct, and question it also correct. It all depends on how you're understanding this, or the Bible, or any text, Gita, Bible, anyone. All right, so four ways of gaining knowledge clear.
Jankiji, suppose you have experienced something and you are telling us about that experience. So this will fit in which category?
If I have experienced something and I tell you which category, it can fit into perception. You're hearing me tell you. It could fit into inference, that everything else I have told you has been true, or everything else that I've told you so far has been false, and therefore this, whatever I am telling you, is true or false. it could fall into comparison that other people who are, maybe suppose I'm a doctor, then other people who are doctors have given you good advice or bad advice, as the case may be. So you're taking it by comparison. Or you can take it or reject it based on authority. That this person has seen it, so that person is the authority, so they can tell us what they saw. Suppose I went to Switzerland. So I can tell you what I saw in Switzerland. So you're taking it from a sort of authoritative source. Because assuming you haven't gone and I have gone, and I can tell you what I saw there. So whatever I'm telling you, if you trust me, then it's an authoritative source. So why you take it, you know. But you could take it for any of these reasons or a combination.
Thank you.
Okay, so anything else clear so far?
Yeah, just one question from my side. So, the spirit of scientific inquiry, the first three methods can still be agreed with and reconciled. But the fourth one, which is essentially based on authority and belief, and which is what will, in the journey of realization of the self, that is probably the last method. So while some of us in the class and may be convinced of that, when we are discussing with others about that, then how can anybody go by that? Because everybody says we are in a
You're
renaissance.
struggling so much to ask the question, Kalyan. Simple question. How can we accept an authority so blindly is your question. Okay, you take it on authoritative source, that means you're not asking a question, it's blind. Why would we accept anything, scriptural or otherwise, blindly? That's your question, right?
Yeah.
So you don't need to be so tactful and all. It's okay, ask the question directly. Why not? Of course you should ask the question. So the answer is that you don't take it blindly. You question. But only thing is, you must not apply small intellect to big things. In the sense that, suppose I go to Einstein and tell him, I don't agree with E is equal to mc squared. Then I'm being rather foolish, because at least I should be of Niels Bohr status to go and argue with Einstein. So I must understand, right? Am I a student of that subject? Am I trying to benefit from the application of that subject? What exactly am I trying to do? And my question has to be in relation to that. If I'm a physics student and sufficiently advanced in my studies in physics, I can ask about E is equal to mc squared. If I'm an engineer, I don't have to worry about E is equal to mc squared. I have to get the bridge to stand. Okay? And if I am a consumer, then I just have to use the bridge in a way that I don't destroy the bridge, or the washing machine in such a way that I don't destroy it. So I have to pace myself and take my authority, my questioning of the authority in terms of where I am. Is that clear? And what am I trying to achieve? And where am I and what am I trying to achieve? So my questioning has to be in relation to that. It's not that you don't question, it is that you don't question inappropriately. Now, the big problem in life is none of us know which is appropriate and which is inappropriate. But we do the best we can. So feel free to ask your questions, at least as far as your Vedanta class is concerned. Don't say over here, I can't ask a question. Remember, now you're a student of the subject. So you have, at least in terms of a class where you are attending, you're attending consistently, you're doing your studies. Of course, you can ask any question. And you need not worry about offending the person taking the class. If that person gets offended, that's their problem, not your problem. Okay?
No, if you apply the same line of thought and somebody asks, or people do ask, so let's say you're on the quest for self-realization. How do you know it'll happen? Then I'll say there's authority my teacher said, whatever scriptures say, then I
You
can't go back and tell him
answer.
that it's not appropriate. Oh, you asked that question.
No, if you say, how do you know there is self realization, then you have to answer honestly. I don't know. And nobody knows. And nobody can say that it is or it isn't. But what we can do is work to find out. Nobody wants to put in that work. They want to sit over here and say, is it or isn't it? And then somebody says, it is, they will argue with that. Somebody says, there isn't, and they'll argue with it. It's not getting anyone anywhere. So let's just be honest. We don't know. Then why are you trying it? Because I read in the scriptures that the possibility exists, so I'm going to find out. I feel it's interesting and I feel it's something worth finding out, so I'm going. We don't have to defend our subject. The truth stands for itself. And people who are arguing will argue about everything. They just want to waste time. They don't want to see a movie and entertain themselves. They want to entertain themselves at cost and benefit. So let us not encourage such thinking. That's why remember the first quality is that you speak with knowledge only to an adhikari. Adhikari means a qualified person. A qualified person means somebody who genuinely wishes to know. Otherwise, why are you talking to this person? Not for us to convince anybody of anything. If you're not convinced, that's up to them. I am convinced I am doing it. You're not convinced, don't do it. Na lena na dena. You live your life, I live my life.
Okay.
Kalyan?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
don't let people draw you into this. It's all just it's not like they are serious. It's a different thing if somebody in group discussion asks that question. The different thing if somebody asks it in a cocktail party.
Yeah.
Is he an adhikari? Is he qualified? Qualified doesn't mean he has to go down on and do Shashtang Namaskar to you and then only ask a question. Doesn't mean that. But it is, he must be interested to really know.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so shall we proceed? Is there anyone else new in class other than Suroto? Who may not know what on earth is going on here. How are you doing, Suroto? All okay? You're able to figure out what's going on?
I'm very good. Thank you
right.
for asking.
So let us proceed with the next paragraph. Who will read the next paragraph? Who is going to read?
Is that textbook?
Yes. Will you read?
I haven't read yet, but I have this book. I bought this book in the Kindle, so I can read, but I don't know what page is this.
No, just read it from the screen now and then summarize it. Yeah. Read this paragraph and summarize it.
Okay, I'm going to read this.
No, read it loudly.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. The means of comparison helps clear this mystery. The transformation of the waker into the self-realized person is akin to the transformation of a dreamer into the waker. The waker views the object and the being and all his experience in the waking world as distinct, immutable. So does the dreamer view the dream object and being and all his experience in the dream world as distinct, immutable? The dreamer's experience of the pluralistic phenomena of the dream continues as long as the dream lasts. The moment the dreamer wakes up, becomes a waker, the entire dream world holds back into the one's waker mind. The waker instantly realized that the one mind had diversified into the pluralistic phenomena of the dream. One ray of the mind became the dreamer, another ray, the dreamer's wife, a third, the dreamer's child. Thus, rays and rays of the mind had projected and dreamed sun, moon, stars, the flora and fauna, and the rest of the dream world. The dreamer's intellect can never conceive, much less accept that the countless things, beings and experience as are all but the one mind of the waker. Only the waker realized that.
When you're ready, summarize the paragraph.
But I can't understand the main idea. But maybe the main idea is that many people are dreamer, but if you wake up, then we realize the truth.
Yes, somewhat. What he's trying to say is that we can understand about the ultimate reality through the means of comparison.
Through comparison.
Yeah. What is the comparison? As the dreamer wakes up to become the waker, so too the waker becomes the enlightened person. Now, while you're dreaming, you see so many things in that dream. Suppose somebody in that dream were to tell us that all that you're seeing is only the waker's mind. It's just one thing. You say, no. What are you saying? There is a wife, there is a son, there is the sun, there is moon, there is trees, there is laptops, and there are cars and EVs, and all of this is just one thing. How is that possible? It's just not possible to understand. How can this whole world be divine? Only one thing. The dreamer cannot understand how everything, including himself, is the waker's mind. So too, we now cannot understand how everything over here is nothing but that one divinity. We call it Shashi or Madeline or Elsie or Milind or Soroto. But it is all one thing, just the divinity. And we understand this only by comparing it to our experience in the dream. In the dream, what happened? We saw so many things. Then what happened? We woke up and we realized all those things we saw in the dream were nothing but the mind. We saw that, right? The entire dream phenomenon became just one thing, the mind. Similarly, this entire waking phenomenon is just one thing, the divinity. So, through this method of comparison, we're trying to explain to us how everything is God, how everything is that one reality. So, what he's trying to establish is that through comparison, we get some glimpse, we get some understanding of what these great sages are talking about. If we didn't have this comparison, simply won't understand it. What do you mean it's all one thing? It doesn't make any sense when you hear it. You can't wrap your head around it. Like, you just don't know what did he say. You just feel Manoranjan Shahu, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you. All right, so this is a method of comparison. I hope the comparison points are clear. Anybody has a problem in understanding this comparison? Okay, all clear? So let's read further. Who will read the next paragraph?
Janki ji, may I ask one question?
Yes, sure, Elsie, go ahead.
Comparison we understand, but still the idea is beyond comprehension.
Yeah, it is beyond comprehension on its own. But with the comparison, you get some glimpse into it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Because if the comparison wasn't there, it would be gibberish. You wouldn't understand what is he saying.
Mm.
But now with the comparison, you understand what he is saying.
Okay. So we are concerned here only with that comparison aspect rather than the other. Okay.
May I read?
Yes, please, Madeline, but one paragraph above.
Yes, similarly as long as the waking state.
I don't have that in this text. Is there some paragraph?
Oh, this paragraph is not there at all.
Yeah, it is not there in my book.
Oh, okay. So someone who has the Madeline, is it there in your book? Similarly,
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
just read it from your book. Yeah.
So similarly, as long as the waking state lasts, the waker experiences countless things and beings, emotions and thoughts. The waker's intellect can never conceive, accept the pluralistic phenomenon of the waking world are all nothing but the one supreme reality, Brahman. Only when the waker realizes his supreme self, moves up from the waking to the fourth state of self-realization, the waker and his world merges into that one reality. Thereafter, the reality Brahman alone exists. The enlightened then realizes that the entire pluralistic world of the waking state is but the one reality alone. So in this paragraph, it says that as the waking state lasts while the waker is experiencing the state, the waker experiences all these countless things because he's in the waker state. So he cannot imagine or conceive that all of these phenomena that he's experiencing are but one only reality when he gets to the fourth state. It's only when he realizes the supreme self that he moves to another level. And in this other level, suddenly he realizes that all these fragmented phenomena that he experienced are but one only reality, which is Brahman.
And yes, so the most important point of this paragraph is what? Can you tell me in just a few words? One.
Getting there. So the waker realized one sentence. Yes. That
or as few words as you can manage.
Yes. The entire pluralistic world of the waking state is but one reality when you get to the fourth state.
Say it in 4 or 5 words.
4 or 5 words.
What is the absolute main idea in this paragraph in the briefest amount of words?
The reality is
two
one.
words. I'd say
Reality, the supreme reality is one, whereas the reality of the waker is plural.
okay, 2 words. Because once you're able to put it down into its most basic, in the least, you know what the point is. Otherwise, it all seems though he's saying the same thing over and over again. He's saying something critical here. And you should be able to say it in 2 words.
Well, everything is actually one thing.
So many words, 2 words.
Reality is one.
That's still 3 words, 2 words. Actually, you should say it in 1 word, but for that, you have to, if I make it into 1 word, I'll be testing your English skills. So I'm accepting 2 words. Just 2 words for this entire paragraph.
Self-realization?
That is 1 word for the book. No, 2 words for just this. What is the main idea in this paragraph in 2 words? 1 word is also possible, but let's be very charitable and accept 2 words.
Okay, oneness.
What does this paragraph say? Now,
The Waker's intellect part.
sorry?
The Waker's intellect part, that line.
The waker what?
Waker's intellect can never conceive except this line.
Bharat, you were supposed to say it in 2 words, but yes, at least you have gone warmer than everybody else. Yes, that line.
Intellect, 1 word.
No.
Waker's intellect.
No. Waker's intellect doesn't really tell you what is he trying to say. What is he really getting at? The whole point of this comparison, what is it?
Realization.
Sorry?
Realization. It's a matter of realization.
Okay, give up.
There is no word, only Brahman.
Brahman you can say for everything and get away. This particular paragraph is bringing out one very important point, and the point is that okay, give up now. Our own creation. You still got 3 words, Uttara. No. The point he's trying to make is
Fragment of imagination.
Too many words and no. The point he's trying to make is that your 2 words are cannot understand. Just as, or if you want 1 word, incomprehensible. Because what is he trying to tell us in this paragraph? If you go to the dreamer and tell the dreamer that all that you're seeing is one thing, the dreamer will never accept this. For the dreamer, it makes no sense what you're saying. Because Elsie was paying attention when we were doing that paragraph, she very shyly said, it's not making any sense. Because she is paying attention, she knows that it's not making sense. That is why he, as the author, knowing what you're going to say, says it won't make sense. You will not understand this. Why will you not understand it? Because just like the dreamer cannot understand that everything in this world is only the dreamer, is the waker's mind. Just as the dreamer will never understand that about his world. Who will understand that the entire dream phenomenon is just one thing? Who will understand this?
Waker.
The waker. When he becomes the waker, he instantly knows it was all one thing. Similarly, now you say, I am one, you are another, my child is the third. From here, we can never understand that it's all one thing. Then when will we understand? When we wake up to the fourth state, we will understand. So what is the point of this paragraph is that you cannot understand. Why can you not understand? Because you're not a waker. How can you possibly understand? How can we make sense of this? That all of this is only one thing. The dreamer will never accept that about his world, and the waker will never accept that about his world, because he can't. But the waker can very clearly see it about the dreamer's world. And the enlightened soul will see it very clearly about this world. So what he is trying to bring about in this paragraph is this cannot be understood. That the whole world is one thing, it's one homogeneous reality, can never be understood by the waker. So you want to put your paragraph into one word, the word is incomprehensible. Incomprehensible. Or if you want it in 2 words, cannot understand. Okay, all good.
Janki-ji, can I ask a question? So we cannot grasp, we cannot understand this until we wake up to this, until we sort of have a, we wake up to this.
Until we wake up to not this, to that.
To that.
Become realized souls, yeah. Until we get enlightenment, we will never accept. See, so much divisions people make over here, so much division. Firstly, they won't even accept all religion as one. They will say this religion, that religion, that religion. They will not accept all humanity as one. They'll say this country, that country, that country. And they all fight with each other. Okay, then men and women. No one accept everybody as humans. These are men, these are women. Women will have to show they are better. Men will have to show they are better. Blacks and whites and browns, we are all the time dividing. All the time. Intelligent, not intelligent, rich and poor, global north, global south, all sorts of divisions we create. So where you see plurality, you will make divisions. All the time there's a division of some sort going on here. And if you tell people, no, it's all the same, they'll say, no, you didn't understand. Now what do you say to that? So as long as we see plurality, we will make divisions. That is a given, because our brain works like that. And as long as we're here, we will not see the oneness. Once we wake up, we'll see the oneness, we'll see no division. So as we approach oneness, the plurality decreases. And then at least the gross divisions you stop seeing.
Janki-ji, a question.
Yeah, Monica.
So the fourth state is an analogy, and it has the shortcomings of an analogy. So we should not assume that because we understand the concept of the fourth state, therefore we have understood, what it is really.
Correct. They have explained the fourth state with the help of an analogy. And when they explain it so much that you get the feeling that, oh, I get what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And you forget that we have it.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Okay, so that's it for today. Hari Om.